5 years, last 5 years, Shay. Last 5 years, Bart, the 49ers have been in 4 NFC title games, 2 Super Bowls, and not a single ring to show for it. Now, I don't know about y'all. At some point in time, if you knocking, there's 2 theories that you can lean on. You going to kick the door in?
Yep.
Number 1. Or number 2, you ran out of luck because Detroit's here. The Rams are coming. Green Bay's coming. The Philadelphia Eagles got some making up to do from an opportunity one would argue they may have blown 2 years ago because that was a tight game between them and Kansas City. Jalen Hurts showed out, and he played well. They could have won that Super Bowl, then they nosedived last year after losing both coordinators, and their defense stunk. And offensively, they couldn't seem to get on the same page. Now you got them with Saquon Barkley there. You still got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert there. An offensive line that's considered one of the elite in football. I take all of those things into consideration, and I'm looking at the 49ers and saying about that window, I can't consider it as wide open as it was last year.
Oh man, you're in hot water, Kyle Shanahan. That was bad for what happened last night. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Kyle Shanahan getting exposed for the 49ers downfall. The 49ers got blown out to the Bills last night as the final score of that ball game was 35-10. This is now the second straight week the 49ers have been blown out on the road as the team has looked like they have effectively quit on the 2024 NFL season. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. How much blame should Kyle Shanahan receive for the 49ers downfall? Percentage-wise, from 0 to 100, I'm going to give Kyle Shanahan 70% of the blame. I know that number may seem a little bit high, but I believe that number is entirely justifiable for why the 49ers fell down the way that they did. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius. No one can deny that. This guy is excellent at getting the most out of mid-quarterback play. However, just because you are those things, that does not hold you away from criticism. Kyle Shanahan is not a great player's coach, and obviously you can see the scores reflect that. Kyle Shanahan is not getting the most out of this 49ers squad. You look at how Kyle Shanahan got Steve Wilks fired at the defensive coordinator position after what happened in Super Bowl 58. I remember Steve Wilks getting scapegoated in that Super Bowl. A lot of people blame Steve Wilks for why the 49ers blew that Super Bowl, but in reality, Steve Wilks was a very good defensive coordinator for the 49ers. I know a lot of 49ers fans hated Steve Wilks at the time, but the guy did a good job holding the players accountable in the locker room, and you look at how the players loved playing for Steve Wilks. Who was the one delivering those pregame speeches? Steve Wilks. Who was the one motivating those players during the game? Steve Wilks. It wasn't Kyle Shanahan motivating those guys. I understand Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius, but Kyle Shanahan is not a great players coach. He doesn't relate to the players particularly well, and he hasn't evolved his scheme. Kyle Shanahan's ego is the reason why the 49ers are in the position that they are in today's NFL. You also look at how the 49ers offensive scheme is very outdated compared to other schemes in 2024. Kyle Shanahan's scheme is too predicated on running the football on 1st and 10 and early downs. It's fine if you run that kind of scheme if you have a superstar running back to pull it off, but with Christian McCaffrey being hurt for the majority of the 2024 NFL season, it's going to be a little bit hard to pull off that kind of feat. There's a reason why the 49ers are 5-7 and 2 games behind the division leading Seahawks in the NFC West, and you cannot say, oh, the 49ers, maybe they can sneak their way into the wild card spot, because right now they are 3 games behind the Washington Commanders for the final spot. So the only way the 49ers can essentially make the NFL playoffs this year is if they go ahead and win their division this year, but I'm not counting on that happening. The 49ers are a team that is destined to finish in last place, and let that be a lesson learned to everybody around the NFL for how you treat your assistant coaches. I remember Kyle Shanahan berated Steve Wilks in the Super Bowl. A lot of people complained about Steve Wilks, but Steve Wilks was getting results out of this 49ers defense, and now they don't have Steve Wilks in the building. Now the 49ers defense is not good anymore. That's Kyle Shanahan's fault. I also want to show you guys this clip of Damien Woody talking about the Steve Wilks firing on Get Up. He was getting on Kyle Shanahan for why he made that move. I thought it was a terrible decision at the time, and clearly Kyle Shanahan has proven me correct with this move. Roll the film.
I was shocked, Granny, when I saw Schefter tweeted that, it like my jaw dropped, because I saw the job that Steve Wilks had done with his defense. We know that there's been like a lineage of defensive coordinators that's come through and has done a tremendous job with the San Francisco 49ers defense. And yes, he doesn't run the exact same scheme that Robert Saleh and DeMeco Ryans run, but obviously with the numbers that you showed, that he did better than what DeMeco Ryans did the prior 2 years. And when I look at this whole year, especially in the Super Bowl, where were those 5 All-Pro offensive players on offense for the San Francisco 49ers? Okay, the genius play calling, Kyle Shanahan. What happened to those guys? Again, just like you pointed out, this San Francisco 49ers defense only gave up 1 touchdown, and that was after a muff punt, what we call, like after a turnover.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going to relieve the defensive coordinator of his duty, it just feels to me that Kyle Shanahan doesn't get it.
Moments like that is exactly why I believe Kyle Shanahan created his own downfall for the 49ers. You also have to remember the Trey Lance trade he pulled off years ago. Trey Lance has been one of the biggest busts in NFL history, and I understand the 49ers still got Brock Purdy out of it and a Super Bowl appearance, but imagine what those first rounders could be doing for the 49ers right now in 2024. There's a reason why this roster is extremely top heavy. Yes, they have a lot of talent, but they haven't been able to select a lot of first round talent in the last 3 years, and that's because they pulled off that stupid trade for Trey Lance. Could you imagine the 49ers had sat at pick 12 and selected someone like Michael Parsons in the 2021 NFL Draft? Could you imagine a defensive line duo of Michael Parsons and Nick Bosa on the same team? Holy cow, that 49ers team would be in excellent shape right now. Maybe the 49ers already win a Super Bowl. You look how the 49ers, they gave up first round picks in 2021, 2022, 2023, and you look at how those 3 years they missed out on key contributors that could have contributed to their Super Bowl run. If they don't make that trade for Trey Lance, they may have already won a Super Bowl. Last night was a perfect summation of how the 49ers season is gone. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They don't respond well to their head coach motivation speeches. And you also look at how the 49ers look incredibly disinterested in playing the game of football. Yes, it's one thing to lose to the Buffalo Bills in the snow. It's a whole nother thing to get killed by 25 points. Christian McCaffrey ended up getting re-injured in the ball game. It seems like he's going to be out for the season. Of course, this 49ers roster is aging as well. They don't really have a lot of young talent on the roster, and it seems like the 49ers window is closing, exactly like what Stephen A. Smith was saying before the season started. I usually bag on Stephen A. Smith a lot, but he was absolutely right about the downfall of the San Francisco 49ers. It's there now, and the 49ers have to accept the fact that their Super Bowl run is essentially over. They're going to have to pay up Brock Purdy after this year, or if they don't pay up Brock Purdy, they got to go ahead and blow this thing up. They got to start the rebuild. It's pretty clear this core of players for the 49ers are not going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. You look at how they also paid up Brandon Aiyuk in the offseason. That move has not worked out whatsoever. Brandon Aiyuk ended up getting injured, but even before he got hurt, he was not playing good football. You look how Deebo Samuel has essentially gotten himself out of shape as well, and George Kittle has gotten old overnight. You look how George Kittle is no longer one of the top tight ends in football. Yeah, he's still a good tight end, but he's no longer the second best tight end in football. It's pretty clear this 49ers team contention window is closed, and the sooner people accept that, the better off everybody else will be. It's pretty clear Kyle Shanahan is now getting exposed for the downfall of the 49ers. You look at how he fired the wrong people after last season. Now the 49ers have to suffer the consequences of firing Steve Wilks, particularly on the defensive end of the field. So that is why Kyle Shanahan deserves 70% of the blame for the 49ers downfall, as the 49ers looked incredibly disinterested in playing football the last 2 weeks. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm gonna shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @Trent Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Trent, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Trent. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.